people that they travel as
I
much as
didn't
they do.
either. It was a lot of red. It was a lot of red, but the dog pound. They still made it tough. They had a few offsides penalties, so we still did our thing.
Absolutely. So my biggest thing that I kept hearing was how the injury bug hit San Francisco, but nobody likes to talk about the injury bug that hit Cleveland. We weren't playing with our starting quarterback. We were missing linemen. We were also missing our starting running back in Chubb. So it's like we have to find a way to get it done. I'm not seeing enough uh basically enough talk about this Cleveland team. And I think just people still don't believe. What do
Yeah.
you think is going to take for us to get people to jump on this bandwagon and actually see that Cleveland is a good team?
So I think they believe in the defense. They believe in the defense, but they don't believe because they want to see what Watson can do. They want to see us hit on all cylinders like the 49ers hit on all cylinders against the Cowboys. So it's a lot because it's a lot of 3-2 teams and we're one in the mill right now. So they're not really like going to, talk about us, until it's time to what is that team in the bubble that's in a 3-2, 3-3 team that can excel. And I feel like we are one of those teams, but we're not going to be talked about until we hit on all cylinders with Deshaun Watson. Like, again, the Jets beat a pretty good team. And they're not going to talk about the Jets being a good team like that. So we have to stack wins. That's what Kevin Stefanski said. We have to stack wins. So once we start doing that, we stack a win against the Colts, and then I think we play the. I'm one game at a time guy. I know we play.
Yeah, me too.
So I know we play the Seahawks around Thanksgiving and stuff like that, or no, the Colorado around Thanksgiving. So I think if we beat the Colts and then say Deshaun Watson comes back after that, and I think we do play Seattle the following week, then they'll start talking about us. But right now they're not talking about us because, we're 3-2. Like we're not really, a team to be reckoned with because our starting quarterback hasn't shown us that consistently that we can be great.
So do you think this is a Super Bowl defense since we're on the defense?
What? Absolutely. I think, man, there was a stat showing something about 1971 about the least amount of yards given up. It's just that defensive line, man. That defensive line is to be talked about. I remember last week we talked about our big signing D tackle, about how he hasn't been showing up. Yesterday he showed up. He did his thing yesterday. He was, again, when you get interior pressure, that definitely is going to help. So that's definitely like and Jock, he's not thinking, he's attacking. So he's making plays too pretty fast. So I think I 100% agree that our defense is Super Bowl caliber defense for sure, 100%.
And just to piggyback on that, my thing is the defense. It seems like they setting the tone for the season. Even with them getting into that fight yesterday, it was dealing with one of our defensive players, one that we kind of text back and forth about with Juan Thornhill, and saying is he's showing up as much as like we would like him to as being a big signing this year. But I think that was just added motivation for the team to go out there and get the win. I don't think they needed much motivation because nobody picked the Browns to win.
Nobody.
Besides Deontay Wiggins, probably.
Hey, man. Hey, talk about it. Talk about it.
So us falling into this place to where it's like they feel disrespected. I listened to Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward said we feel disrespected. We feel like they came onto our field and that they tried to bully us, and we're not here to get bullied.
Yeah, I did see that. I did see the 5-minute control, but I did see the fight. I seen the fight yesterday too. That was you don't do that. You don't do that in Cleveland. Ask Jose Ramirez, let them know. Hey, don't come to Cleveland thinking stuff sweet.
That's the wrong place to do that with. But I guess they had to find out. Now Deshaun Watson jumping onto the offense. We touched on Deshaun Watson. I really wanted to speak on him being cleared to play. And it's starting to become an issue with like a lot of the fans. There's been some talk of some of the teammates, which some of the teammates came out and said it wasn't true, but it was some talk saying that some people weren't happy about Deshaun Watson not playing in the game due to being medically cleared and still not feeling right to go. So, I know we touched on that last week, but going into these next coming weeks, do you see that being a problem and that actually taking a toll on some of his teammates?
The cure of all is winning. I feel like if we would have lost this game, there probably would have been more of an issue. But being that PJ showed that he can, he had some error throws, but again, that's the second best defense in the league. You know what I mean? So him being able to move the ball and us running the ball well against that team, I'm sure the defense probably is saying, listen, take your time. I'd rather you get healthy than go out there and hurt us and not be your 100% self. I am on the scale because that's one thing in sports that you can't tell anybody like what to do. You know what I mean? Like you can't judge how hurt someone is or how injured someone is. So, and again, we're talking about somebody. It's not somebody who just sits out when he has a bump and bruise. He had an ACL tear and he played through that whole game. Like he's played through injuries. So if he feel like he can't do something, I'm gonna go with his word and let him he feel like he can't be his natural self out there. I don't want him to come out there and again fans aren't going to be like, man, he's hurt because we didn't do that with Baker. So he knows his body. I'm sure he wants to be out there. He wants to prove the naysayers wrong more than his fans, the people who believe in him. So I'm sure he wants to get back out there. So I'm going to, again, we win against the Colts on Sunday. We play a great game and we win that game and he comes back against Seattle and has a great game. We won't even worry about it, But just like how Lamar Jackson, people feel like he could have played in the playoffs last year, but they said they feel like he held out because of he didn't get his check. So, and I don't know how his fans were. Again, I'm not a fan of that team, but I'm sure they were like, come on now. So if this was like the playoffs or we're 2 games behind in the playoff race and it's week 15, I would like, hey man, get a shot. We need you. You know what I mean? We have a lot of prime players right now. We can't let their prime go. Myles Garrett, to me, is going to be a Hall of Famer. Denzel Ward, we have great players out there. We can't let these years just go by thinking, okay, we could do it next year like we did last year. We knew last year was a wash. So this year, whenever he's able to throw and he feel like he's able to throw, I want him out there for sure.
So do you think that we can actually win this game against the Colts without Deshaun Watson?
Yes, because of our defense. Our defense is top tier. Again, we just went against the best offense in the league. If they're not the best, the Dolphins are the second. Like, just scheming stuff up, they have 2 running backs who beast, Zach Moss and that's his name, and Jonathan Taylor. So Moss and Taylor, they have good running backs. But again, Christian McCaffrey is one of the best backs. After that first drive, he didn't really go off. I know he did get injured, but still, Elijah Mitchell, their backup, he's good too. He didn't got off before too. We stopped them. So I feel like with our defense, we're going to be in every game. It depends on the throws we have to make and the certain plays we can't. Yesterday, we got away with we shot ourselves in the foot. We had 2 turnovers yesterday. We can't do that on the road against a team. That's for sure.
Almost 3.
Almost 3. Man, that third one, boy, we gonna talk about it. But yeah, 2 turnovers. We have to get a turnover against Minshew because I know Richardson isn't playing. He's on the IR. We're gonna have to get a turnover against him. He's capable of doing so. He did it against the Jags yesterday. So we just have to. I definitely believe that we can win in Indianapolis on Sunday.
So I think one of the keys in going into that game is keep thriving off the defense, of course. I think P.J. Walker is highly capable of running this offense. I think he just has to make a few of those plays. I think he actually came up with a lot of those plays I was looking for him to have on third downs. We got a few conversions out of him. and I was pretty happy to see him actually take some chances downfield. I'm not sure if you got the chance to hear. He actually called one of the our old I guess an old Browns player in that plays for the Washington Redskins. Well, I can't think. Jacoby Brissett.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked him, how is it like going into this game? What do you see? What do you think? And he said, if Amari Cooper wins off the line, throw it to him.
Mm-hmm.
And we can see that, he found Amari Cooper a few times.
Mm-hmm.
But going into this game, I just like I've been a fan of PJ Walker. I've actually watched him since the XFL.
Mm-hmm.
And watching his process of being a player, I kind of compared him to Marcus Vitt.
Okay.
Being able to move around and having an arm to be able to throw certain passes. But I don't want to get too far in this conversation without highlighting Kevin Stefanski coached one of his best games. And I know I am very hard on him. So I know you're definitely happy to hear that. But
hey, listen, you ain't worry about me cutting you off. Go ahead.
I wanted to actually pass that to you. How do you feel about Kevin Stefanski this game? And do you feel like he shut up a lot of the Browns players, or we have to see some more consistency out of it?
So, I think again, I think highly of our coach. That's definitely what circumstances he had to go through with after he won Coach of the Year. Next year, Baker gets hurt. Then next year after that, which was last year, we had Jacoby Brissett, and then this year, now all of a sudden, the best running back is gone. So he's had. I wish he was able to have everybody healthy. He has not been able to have that, but I think that he's capable. Does he do some things that wouldn't like people don't like? Because let's get to a play. Fourth and 1. Harrison Bryant, right? Everybody know he lined up. He does the quarterback sneak with the tight end. Let's say Harrison Bryant, when he pitches it, he pitches it wrong and Kareem Hunt drops it and they get the ball. Everyone will go crazy. Like, why would you put a tight end in? Why would you just don't keep the quarterback? Like, so it's certain things like that will get you, fans loving you and fans hating you. Mm-hmm. So we have to see the vision. I watched the Chiefs. Andy Reid is a very good coach. He had Noah Fant come in and run on a 4th and 1, and he got stopped. But he's capable of doing great things. But again, Andy Reid might do some things that make you scratch your head, but no one's going to question him because of what he's able to do. Mm-hmm. So if you believe in your coach and you see that he's able to do certain things, you won't really question him like that. So again, I know that certain times he get away from running the ball. I understand that. And yesterday he did not get away from running the ball. And that definitely helped us for sure, 100%. So I think that he's capable of continuing to do this. I like the progression. Again, when you have 2 weeks to prepare for somebody, that's what I'm gonna play the pros and cons. I think that he can do this regardless. But if you get 2 weeks to prepare for someone, it should look like this. You should be able to, hit a defense in certain places. Now, don't get me wrong, it's hard to do it with the practice squad player. But you still should be able to do it. So again, if I'm gonna have the tough hat on and the, I've been a fan of him hat on, I can do that. I can say that he should be able to do something with 2 weeks in advance. 2 weeks preparation, but he also did it with a practice squad player, against the second best defense in the league. So again, I'm gonna tip my hat off to Coach Stefanski. Again, he has to, like he kept talking about stacking wins. He has to be able to put it together. Now he has to get the guys back up, in the game where we like, okay, now was the 49ers win our Super Bowl or was it a stepping stone? Mm-hmm. He has to get the guys back going, which I believe with the leaders in there, one person who will not let you get ahead of yourself is Jim Schwartz. Mm-hmm. He doesn't care. He's not going for, he expects you to do this. You know how you did something for your dad, or man, I expect him to say good job,
Yeah.
And go out there, catch 2 touchdowns. You go to your mom.
Yeah.
Dad, hey, that one play you could have
right.
That's Jim Schwartz. That's Jim Schwartz in a nutshell. He's not going to let them get too high. You know what I mean? Even when I remember they asked him earlier in the year, he was like, "How do you feel about his defensive line?" Which he's like, "Oh yes, we have a great defensive line." He's like, "But I coached him. He's not going to let them get too above themselves. He knows Miles is a beast, but he also brings up other defensive linemen and let him know like we can't do it without the other defensive linemen. We all are a unit, you know. So he keeps them level-headed. I feel like he's a level-headed defensive coach. So I think that we can stack a win on Sunday for sure.
So I have this thing with some of our playmakers on the team, with Amari Cooper, and I know we spoke on Elijah Moore. You were saying that you wanted to see more of him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to feel like we have so many playmakers on the team. It's hard to get them all the ball. You know, like you spoke on, even on the defense, we spoke on the D tackle finally showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think during different games, you're going to see different opportunities for different players to show up.
Mm-hmm.
To stay on the offensive side, we haven't seen much for DPJ.
I knew it. That's your guy. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's definitely my guy, but I don't think it's helping him in this case of going into this contract and looking for a big contract next year. We have so many different weapons. It's just hard to find him. Seeing that, we throw the ball to Njoku, seeing that we'll bring in, I like to see that Kareem Hunt came into the game and we started to get him going because we definitely want to need him.
Mm-hmm.
And letting him start the game. And I saw Stefanski's game plan was to let him start and really get him some carries so his feet could get underneath him.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm actually going to is like, do you see that being a problem, or is that a good problem to have? Is that a good issue to have?
As a receiver, I don't think it's a good issue to have for DPJ to not get any touches, But again, with the circumstances, when you have a DTR and a PJ Walker, they want to see the guy open. We talked about this before. DPJ is a great contested catch player.
Yeah.
So they already don't want to throw it to him for a 50-50 ball right now. Cool. He's gonna get off the line. I'm gonna create space, and not helping when PJ Walker threw it to Coop the one time and he was covered. Now he's like, man, I want to see people open. So again, when Watson comes back, and while you see Watson throws it to DPJ, he knows he has a great anticipation with DPJ. So I feel like he's going to, get involved with getting him the ball. But with PJ Walker, he wants to see people open, so he's confident to throw it to him. So I would love for DPJ to get the ball, but right now, just probably again, like you said, that was a great analysis that you had with defensive line or certain defensive players will get off against certain teams. This probably wasn't the game for DPJ to get off. I don't think that he's I won't say very good, but I don't think that he's a good zone receiver, like to find the holes. I feel like he can, but he's not quick and he has that quick niche to get open. Coop has that, Elijah Moore has that, David Bell, who had a great fourth down.
David Bell have a good pickup.
Yeah, so he can. I feel like he can do that. I don't know if DPJ is a great contested catch player. I don't think that he's a very good. He doesn't really create a lot of separation for certain QBs to feel comfortable throwing him the ball. But I think that he will be utilized, when Watson gets back.
I like it. Now from here, I actually want to hear some of your takeaways from the game. And I know you do your top 7, so I'm very eager to actually hear from that and get some of your insight on what you got from the game.
I'm extremely happy that we didn't hit some of the things that we talked about. So there's going to be a little bit different. Obviously, I must talk about Coach Stefanski. Number 1 is my top 7 takeaways. Coach 1, Coach Stefanski called a great game. We talked about it earlier. He didn't do too much with PJ Walker. He did make the defense honest, though, let him know, I still throw the ball downfield. He did great with the screens. We had a screen called back for a touchdown that I wasn't really fond of that holding call, but
right.
And they gave us some calls back, where that could have been iffy here or there, but he wasn't afraid to call us some screens. Again, he did what he was supposed to do for this game. He ran the ball extremely well. He put a heavy set in for people to run. Like, I like what Stefanski did for game one. I mean, for number one. Number two, PJ Walker got lucky that last pass was incomplete. Because I don't know what he was doing on that second. What are you doing?
Trying to save the day.
I don't need you to be doing that. I'm like, man, this guy has to be wide open whoever throwing the ball to.
Yeah.
I was cussing him out when we ran the third down play. I was like, what is this? They gotta let him get a timeout. I was upset. I was highly upset. But he got lucky. Again, they was on the lake, man. So we got some love over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Number three is take 5 wide. Even though I said Coach Stefanski he did a great job. Take 5 wide out the playbook until Watson get back. As soon as the first play we go 5 wide, he throw an interception. First play.
Yes.
We got to take the 5 wide out the playbook until Deshaun Watson comes back in, because Deshaun Watson the only person who liked it. Well, you lucky that he liked it, because I don't like it. I want somebody back there.
Yeah.
Especially with Wills at the left tackle. Like, he needs a little chip sometimes. So I don't need them teeing off on our offensive lineman like that. So we should take 5 wide. I know it was a quick game, and he didn't have to throw it to him, but I just want him to take it out there until Watson comes back. Number 4, this is the best defense. The best defense in the league wears brown and orange, man. 49ers is not the best. They could be second. It's okay being second.
Right.
But we have literally the best defensive team in the NFL. We went against the best offensive. If he's not the best, he's definitely top 2 or 3 offensive play callers in the NFL. I got the stats here. Whew. Man, the whole game, they ran 52 plays the whole game. They had 140 yards. That's
total?
Yes, total. That's 2.69 yards. And I didn't add the kneel at the end of the first half. That's a -1 yard, so we could have took that away.
Right.
It's 2.69 yards per play. Second half alone, they had 47 yards on 7 possessions. 47 yards. They had 52 on the last possession, and they would have missed the field goal.
Right.
So second half alone is just, I mean, they had an 8-yard touchdown because we threw that interception. Other than that, the second half they played lights out. They just played lights out yesterday. It was beautiful to watch. Number 5, Kareem Hunt should be the starter. I think he should be the starting running back. Hunt, I mean, Ford came in. He did his thing, but Hunt just being, I think, from Cleveland, especially when he's at home, he brings the energy. As soon as he touches the ball, I feel like he gives his body to Cleveland every time he touches the ball. He throws his body in there every time he runs. You know, I think Ford is a good change of pace back. I mean, he's not really that fast to me, but he's still like, it's good to have him in there in third quarter, fourth quarter. Like, once Kareem Hunt has, softened him up a little bit, he comes in, he makes him like, I like what they did there, but I think Kareem Hunt should be the starting, just until Ford is ready to take that lead back role. I don't think he was ready to do that because he was ready to be the backup for Chubb. So I don't think he's ready to be the lead back role. So I think Hunt should be the starter. This one we did not talk about. Big Jones held his own against the Defensive Player of the Year yesterday.
Yes, he did.
Jones played very well. DeJuan Jones played very well yesterday against. We didn't hear Nick Bosa's name that much.
No, I think one time.
And Jones did his thing against him for sure. He's gonna. I don't know what we're gonna do with Jack Hawk when he comes back. Somebody, so we could probably trade him to get something, but we're fine with Jones. He's only gonna get better in the run game. His offense, again, his pass blocking is amazing to me. I think that he's gonna be a future All-Pro in this game if he stays healthy. And my seventh and last one is Cooper's the number 1 receiver.
Go
ahead. I know we had, our arguments over the summer, like, man, I don't think he top 10. I don't think he is. But, or I also say I don't think he's a true number 1. But yesterday he showed me. Yesterday was his best game as a Brown. I know last year against Washington he scored 3 touchdowns. I want to say, or 2 or 3 touchdowns against them. But with the practice squad player, a top 2 defense, and we on you, and you make plays when it's time to make plays, I got to give kudos to Coop, man. Coop is the number one receiver in the NFL. I have to say it. That's my that's top seven takeaways, man. You got it. What you like, and what you dislike.
I'm gonna start off with the last one you just said because my boy Cool.
Cool. And he did his thing.
I love some Cool.
He did. He played so well yesterday, man. You're not gonna
So
hear it.
I do think that Washington. I am gonna stick with Washington with his best game, only because Deshaun Watson wasn't finding him. Like that was when him and Deshaun Watson actually got a connection that game. We saw, okay, he's using Coop.
Okay.
And we saw the glimpse of what he could do. I've seen Cooper do this numerous of times with different quarterbacks. So for me, I expect Coop to give me consistency with catching the ball and us being able to use him when times get hard. Now my next statement would be on the running back position. I do agree. Like I like Kareem starting. He does bring a different energy. He is from Cleveland. You can see when he scored the touchdown, you could feel it through the crowd. When he scored that touchdown, everything exploded. I felt that I was out in the car watching the game, and I had to almost pull over because I was too excited to just see him get back in the end zone, and it just felt so good to have him back on the team. Ford, I do like the change of pace. Putting in Ford, I think he's a lot faster than what we give him credit for, but I do like the change of pace of putting him in, and I saw a couple of runs that he broke on. He's been doing that each game, and it's some that he gets stuck. But I think that has to do with, I'm going to go back. I know I gave Kevin some fancy props, but sometimes I feel like when we run the ball, it's kind of obvious. And some of the times, like, okay, where I want us to switch it up, we don't. So it's kind of obvious, like, okay, when we run the ball. I was watching LA Rams yesterday, and they ran the ball 13 times until they got down to the end zone, and then they finally threw the ball for a touchdown. And that's not something that we see often for the Browns, where I see, okay, the run is working, that we stick continuously with that run.
The only time I feel like we were doing that was against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
We were doing that with Chubb a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, you're right though. We don't. And I want to take back something. This was after it was 140 yards after they scored a touchdown. So after I didn't include the touchdown. I want to make sure I add that. Okay. After the first drive, that's what we held them to. 140 after 52 plays. But keep going. Yeah. We don't do that. And even I don't remember last year. Or was it 2 years ago? The Patriots, I think they passed the ball 5 times.
Yeah.
Kept running it like you're gonna stop us. So again, I'm not a fan of that, but it's crazy that can work. If if you run the ball that much and you have a scheme to where like they can't stop it, because I know Shanahan, he would do that too. He'll keep running CMC and switch it out with like Elijah Mitchell. So you're right. If it works, I'm not against you saying that. That's a good analysis as well. That 13 times is crazy. I don't think we'll see Kevin do that.
No.
Only because he loves play action. So eventually he's gonna want to hit him with the play action and then throw it over the top or throw it to a tight end in the flat or Elijah. More in the flat too. So he had a good one-hand catch yesterday. I'll give him that.
I was about to get my man the ball.
And Moore, he did his thing. So I just think it was a well-rounded game for us, even without Watson.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's just say that Watson doesn't play this game. What is it that you think will come out of this next game? Do we get a win? What's the score? Who do you think shows up this game?
Score. If Watson does not play, it'll be a low-scoring game. I'll say 20. We have to stop turning that ball over. I feel like it'll be 21. It could be 21-10. I could feel like we could win a game like that with our defense playing how they play, and PJ not doing too much. I feel like we could win that game. Again, this is one of the games I did have us winning against the Colts. Even though it's a road game, we're not traveling that far. They have Minshew, and he is a vet who's seen a lot of teams play, or he played for a lot of teams. He played against a lot of defenses. But when you playing against Myles Garrett, who did his thing against the best left tackle, and that defense, I don't think that he's gonna be able to win that game. I think we will win the game against the Colts if PJ or Deshaun Watson play. I just want to see the same dose that we saw yesterday. Even if Watson comes back, we don't have to throw it that much. We still should throw the ball, but don't be. We ran the ball very well against a very good front of the 49ers. So if we could run the ball very well, I feel like we could win the game 21-10 and end up being 4-2.
So I'm gonna go off. So I got it at. I have our score at 2013.
How come we just can't just win a game without us having a heart attack? 2013 a one-score game. I want to have a 21-10 game.
So I think maybe I want to be absolutely correct on this stat, but I was talking to Lionel Stewart, and I believe the stat came out where I told him most of the games decided in the NFL, I think it's 33%, if I'm not wrong, is decided by 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so like, I was telling him before, like, and shout out to Andrew Berry as I'm saying this for going out and getting the kicker. Because I don't know where we would be at with K. York.
Who knew this the D-Hop we needed? Not DeAndre Hopkins.
Exactly. So
we needed, man.
So I'm looking at it as a lot of these games are eventually going to come down to our kicker doing great. I think the Ravens, what's the Ravens kicker? Justin Tuck. I think he has 6 field goals.
Man, hey, I'm going to get him in fantasy. He definitely had 6 field goals yesterday.
So it's just like we're going to have one of those games where we're going to have to kick those field goals, and I think we got the kicker to do it. So I don't look for it to really be a high-scoring game. I don't think our offense has figured it all out yet. Mm-hmm. Once they do, I think teams are going to be in trouble.
For sure.
That's the biggest thing for us right now. The defense. One thing I know about playing defense is once your communication is on point, y'all trust each other, it's only going to get better. Y'all just going to gel together. I think at this point in time in the season with our DBs and everybody communicating, you could see everybody communicating. Mm-hmm. It was a play yesterday where I think a lot of people take away from Anthony Walker with him getting hurt. They didn't notice how big of a player he was, like how much that role was going to hurt us, trying to put in Phillips to fill that role. It's just how vocal Anthony Walker is and how much of a leader he is. It was a play that I saw that he looked like he was blitzing. He was moving different D tackles within the gap and still talking to the DBs to let them know, okay, this is who you're covering when I'm blitzing this gap. Mm-hmm. That's stuff that I didn't see Phillips doing too much. He's not really a vocal person as well.
He's very young. He probably was just worried about doing his play right. Listen, I got this. I can't really worry about everybody else. But Walker, like you say, he's a wily vet, man. He knows what he's doing back there.
Which is hard. It's hard for you to kind of sit back when you have the green dot. He has the green dot. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you have to be vocal. And so, going into these games, I think our DBs are going to get much better. I was going through my Facebook messages, and some people were talking about Myles Garrett wasn't going to have that big of a game because Purdy gets the ball out so quick. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I think that's going to hurt San Francisco because our DBs play tight coverage. Mm-hmm. And so they're going to throw into an interception. Mm-hmm. As we see my boy Emerson got his first interception.
Newsome, man, he got to get in that jug machine, man. We really didn't have to sweat. He could have caught that mud. Caught that ball, we would have been good.
I think dude reached back, kind of, threw him off.
We need him to get it. Come on now. He got to get his interception, man.
He didn't have that many interceptions in college. His boy Mitchell had all the interceptions, who was the backup DB. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, So I like the depth with us too. That's another thing that I don't see get talked about a lot. Alex Wright gets in and he brings pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like the depth that we have on the D line. It's a few players that was actually hurt that we're not even using on the D line. So
did Hurst play yesterday?
I don't remember his name being called, but I remember Richardson.
Yeah, our D line, man, they're one of the best in the league as well. Didn't really watch too much NFL Network or ESPN, but I definitely know they should be talking about them for sure, 100%.
Yeah, so
you said 2013. So we got us both in the same around the 20 range. And I am happy about that. I think that's what messed up Moody, kicking, in Cleveland at the, because he does very well when he's in San Francisco kicking the ball.
I said this ain't Lake Erie, baby.
Yeah, he didn't miss a field goal until yesterday.
Yeah,
so
it's different. Mm-hmm. And we had Phil Jackson in the building.
Phil Dawson.
I'm sorry, yeah, Phil Dawson in the building. He's
and that's crazy. Yeah, he pushed it to the right for us, man. And Phil Dawson, boy, he was that guy. But
Phil Dawson is the man.
As long as we both got us winning this weekend, that's all that matters, man. So we could be back here happy 4-2. I know you got to be a crazy Browns fan. I'm not gonna say who it was to look up to see if y'all in what the playoff race looking like right now. Again, it's from a source. I ain't gonna say Deontay looked this up. We would be in the wild card. We would be in a wild card playing the Dolphins right now if the playoffs was today.
Ooh.
So I'm just saying, right now we sitting in a good spot, man. We need to again continue to stack these wins up, get a home playoff game. Whew. Yeah. I think we could win a division. I really do. I said that at the beginning of the year. I think we can win a division. It's gonna be tough though, but I still think we can do it for sure.
It's definitely going to come down to the second half. We play a lot of those teams on the back end of the season. I think Cincinnati is the last game of the season.
Yep, and it's going to be on the road too.
Right. So, and the Ravens game is on the road as well, right? Then we play them home.
Yeah, we did. We did play them home.
So both of those games are going to be hard going into their territory, winning the game. But I think right now, I really feel like you better get us now. And I'm going to use Coach Prime. You know what I mean? You better get us now because
without Watson, yeah, for sure.
Once we figure it out, the sky's the limit. So I'm not really worried about later on in the season. I think right now we need to continue off this confidence. I think this last game was a big confidence builder, and if we could keep the momentum going into this next game against the Colts and actually get a back-to-back win, that'll help us going into the next game as well.
Mm-hmm. I think we could definitely do it, though. I definitely feel like we could beat the Colts with their backup quarterback. Again, none of their receivers to me pose a threat, like Debo and like I don't want to mess up the name, number 11. He's good. George Kittle. I don't think they have the weapons on the outside to even pose a threat to our defense. Again, I'm not taking them lightly because, again, it's NFL. You can win the game. But I don't see anybody posing a threat to us for our defense like that. For our defense to have any problems. Offense needs to take care of the ball, take what the defense gives you. Don't try to be a superhero and throw across your body in the end zone. So I think that we can beat this team for sure. I think it's going to be a low scoring game though, for sure.
Well, there it is. There we have it. Deontay Wiggins, Insane Sports Podcast, Paul Sains. I thank y'all for tuning in today. Hey, go Browns. You already know. Go Dogs.
Let's go.
Hey, man. I'll catch you next time.
All right, man.
Yes, sir.